So today, where we are in Nigeria, there are only a few countries that are in Africa that is on that level with us. You understand? So today we have EVs on our roads.
Okay.
We have EV charger stations in some of the states, and funny enough, Sokoto, Borno, those kind of places have the infrastructure to charge EV cars,
like charging
Lagos,
stations.
you understand? So, and if you look at the number of EVs again globally, as at last data checked on this, about 6 million EVs worldwide. So
Wow,
it's still very, very small. So for us to even have one or two, we should be celebrating. You understand? So, and it shows that it's actually doable.
Hello guys, welcome to the Techpoint Africa Podcast. My name is Bolu, and today we'll be discussing something quite interesting. We'll be talking about EVs. Is Nigeria really ready for them? And we'll also be talking about car financing, what you need to know in case you want to buy your first car or your second car, or probably even the third. Today I have a guest from Autochek, and he will be answering some of the questions I have. I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mandela Oniemola. I'm the Vice President for Central Processing Group for Autochek.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mandela, for joining us on today's podcast. All right, before we go on, let me just talk about today's sponsor, the sponsor of today's podcast. And our sponsor, as I'm sure you already know, is Whistle. Whistle is an application that allows you make money by snitching on people. Yes, snitching on people. Right? It's not what you're thinking. So say you are on the road and you notice people driving a bit recklessly, not obeying traffic laws. You can simply take a picture, send it to Whistle, and they'll actually pay you for doing that. All right. So if you want to start making money snitching on people, just download the Whistle app. It's on the Android Play Store. For iPhone users, it's not yet available for you, but I'm sure Whistle is working on that, because I think iPhone users are better snitchers. Please don't quote me. But it's on the Android Play Store, and you can just download, sign up, and if you see anyone except me flaunting traffic rules, just report them and you get paid for it. All right, let's just get into today's podcast. All right, thank you very much, Mandela, for joining us today. All right, so I'm sure you heard the news about Nigeria's plans to start manufacturing electric vehicles in the country. It was met with, I did the story, and it was met with some skepticism on the part of the citizens, talking about the readiness of the country for such a technological transformation. Okay. So let me know what your own take when you saw it. What was going through your mind?
Okay, so it's a welcome development, and we must, appreciate the government for taking these giant strides. Being an automobile leader in Africa, Nigeria has always, been at the forefront since from the early 50s. So yes, we've had our setbacks, but with this development, it just shows that we are getting ready in the near future to take back our position in Africa and in the rest of the world.
Interesting. All right. So let me just start with some questions.
Okay.
That some people had, or some of the comments that some people made about that, and that is the part about the readiness of Nigeria for such a technological advancement. Can I call it that? Yes. Do you think we are ready? people are like, we don't even have light, we don't even have road.
Yes.
Are we ready for this?
So I'll approach this from two angles. First and foremost, to tell you that the fears that people are having is actually real, and we cannot dismiss that, because by just looking around you, you can see a whole lot of ways that this would fail. But again, when you want to go or do something as gigantic as this, you look at the opportunities and you see if it outweighs the negative situation that we are in currently. So in the case of Nigeria, how we have started this journey is interesting. First, the fact that we are having this conversation at the right time. So we are not playing a catch-up. We are having this conversation when it is a very important topic in the entire industry and in the entire world because of the benefit that it has. So this conversation is also becoming more, the voices are getting louder because of the post-COVID situation where we could see the direct impact on global and climate issues on businesses generally. So everybody is looking for ways to ensure that we don't go through that kind of situation anymore. So this is not saying directly that is what caused COVID. But again, people are now paying attention to their environment, you understand? So it's a good time for us to have the conversation. And this is leading us on a journey that neither of us can actually know the end. What we should be happy about is that we are part of this journey because the benefit of EVs is if I begin to analyze it, how we are beginning to look at it, EVs specifically in Nigeria can help to solve a whole lot of problems for us. So sometimes the hard way may not actually be the only way. Sometimes it could just be easy ways like this that could come to us and get us to where we want to get to. So yes, the fears are really valid, and but there are the benefit outweighs any threats or fears that we have today.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So benefits of EVs, environment, cleaner environment, reducing carbon emissions. I'm not against that. I care about the environment, okay. But you agree with me that you work with Autochek. You basically sell cars, make cars available. In terms of maintenance, all that, and I'm sure you have an idea of what people's spending power in Nigeria, in Africa, what their spending power is in terms of electric vehicles. Do you think enough people in Nigeria can really afford EVs? Just in the name of protecting the environment.
Okay, so all right, so you allow me to answer this question from trying to talk about why Autochek is in this business.
Okay.
So Autochek is an automobile industry leader, and we have cut out a niche for ourselves to create a technology that can, as much as possible, democratize access to owning vehicles. So what it means is that we've kind of done our research and understood why people cannot, afford vehicles. And we've also gone ahead to create solutions for people that are convenient. You understand? So let's talk about our buying culture first. So today, average cost of car in Nigeria, say 4-5 million, you want to go and buy a car. You travel out of this country and you want to buy that kind of car, you kind of have options to use credit to buy those cars. So what that does is that it frees up enough capital for you to do something else. So the right behavior actually is using vehicle financing to buy a car. So once you look at it from that angle, it becomes cheaper for you. Then it becomes something you begin to, what are the other benefits that I begin to get? So for example, in Autochek, we give the vehicle financing, but the journey does not stop there. It only starts from there. When we finance a vehicle for you, depending on any of our partners that is doing the financing, we stay with you throughout the tenure. Not because we are the typical Nigerian of you pay back or so. No, that's not why we are there. We stay with you to ensure that the health of the car is as fantastic as possible throughout the tenure, so that you don't have to deal with different kind of issues, and you don't have to deal with the environmental factors that we have today. So coming into our ecosystem automatically gives you an access to owning a vehicle of your choice that you can pay over time.
Interesting.
With maintenance also bundled in.
Okay, yeah, I have a very interesting follow-up question to that. But before I take that question, let me just introduce my audience or talk about, one of the very big, because you were saying something about finance, and I think it's an important way to plug in the FinTech Summit that is coming up. It's a Techpoint Africa event, and it's coming up this November. It's coming up in November 26th, and it's going to be a very big one. We have industry experts in the FinTech space that will be talking about the opportunities, the challenges that are in the FinTech ecosystem in Africa. They'll be talking about things about, how to harness the opportunities that are in the FinTech sector. How do you make use of investment platforms that are now available? How do you make use of, the wide variety of fintech products that we now have in Africa? So simply go to the website. We'll have a link to it, but you just want to type it right now into your browser. Just type fintech.techpoint.africa, and you see the registration link there. Make sure you register, come for the event. You meet me there. We can hang out if there's really anything you want to ask me. I see a lot of comments from people across the continent. Kenyans, I see a lot of Kenyans. Thank you guys. You guys are really, you've been amazing, actually. So if you can make it to the event, come. We'll hang out. We'll talk about, some of the pressing issues surrounding FinTech finance in Africa. All right, yeah. So my interesting question, my interesting follow-up question, which is: so are you saying in the event that EVs become a thing in Nigeria, in Africa, and I want to buy a Tesla, will Autochek be willing to finance my dreams? My dreams of owning a Tesla.
So Autochek is an aggregator of the ecosystem, you understand. So we are not operating alone. So today, if you want to buy new cars, you find them on our platform. If you want to buy used cars, you find them on our platform. So if you want to fix cars, you find certified workshops on our platform.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that is, I don't know which models are there. I think there's a Y, there's an S, and there are some X, that are up to $60,000 to probably $80,000, and Autotech will be willing to finance that.
Of course, the underwriting process, of course, will come into place, which is where we check if you can afford it. In terms of you bring the equity, then we spread the rest for you. We agree on the interest rates, and depending on the partner you are talking to. And it's as easy as that. So we are not treating it as a different concept itself, because it's not new, you understand. Okay. What is just changing, and when we talk about EVs, what is changing is just that the internal combustion engine is changing to electronic.
Interesting. All right. So I have some more, questions about, your financing feature, how it works. But before that, I just want to talk about, now that, I won't really call it an economic downturn, but you agree with me that inflation has been on the rise, purchasing power has dropped significantly. Generally, not just talking about EVs now, how has this affected, your platform? Have you really seen reduction in the rates at which, people purchase motor vehicles now?
Okay, so I would say that the automobile industry itself is going through a phase that it has not gone to in a very long time, speaking to Nigeria. And this is a positive development for us in terms that, so in the last 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years, down to recent, you will see the kind of cars that are coming into the country are usually badly accidented and, all those kind of conditions. The industry was also not clean. Like, for you to make a choice of vehicle that you are buying, you have to go through a whole lot of headache. You are scared of somebody not cheating you. So all those things are kind of stories that have gone away now. You understand? So you don't hear all those events happening anymore because of organizations like us that have come into the space to create the clarity that is needed here. You understand? So in terms of affecting our numbers, we are a financing platform. So we have more people now opting for financing instead of using their hard-earned cash to go and buy vehicles.
Okay.
So in trying also not to over-celebrate this, we feel that we are seeing from all the indicators that we are seeing the behavior moving to the right process, right model for the automobile industry. Because when there's financing layered in between, remember, like I said, you have that free cash to do something else. So you don't have to tie up your capital on one asset. And also knowing that this asset is taken care of is also very critical to a buyer. He wants to know. Then for the past 2 years, we've had to replace a couple of cars due to accidents, fire, sort of like that. So these are things that are on our platform today that you can enjoy just by accessing financing through us.
Okay. Does that work like insurance?
Yes, we have insurance partners. Also.
Interesting.
So, but Nigerians also will tell you they don't want to do comprehensive because they understand how difficult it is for them to actually claim when the time comes. But because they are going through us, these things within 3, 4, 5 days will replace your car.
Okay. So how exactly do you do that? You mentioned you do that with partners, right?
Yes, we have insurance partners.
Insurance partners.
We report the accident to them.
Okay.
Give them all the details. We file for claim, and you get to come to the website to pick another car.
Okay. So you just take care of that.
Take care of that. So
okay.
I'm trying to explain how the entire thing comes together for Autochek.
Okay, that's quite interesting. And you mentioned that more people are opting for and I remember there was a time on this podcast a few months ago, we were talking about Autochek. I think Autochek was in the news about a certain acquisition, and we were talking about the financing platform, and I think we said something about interest rates being high, and then we got clarification from Autochek, I think almost immediately, about how it works exactly, but it's not really that clear. How does the interest rate work?
I would explain to you also again. So again, in simple steps, what Autochek has done is to aggregate partners on our platform. So we have financial partners, the same way we have insurance partners, the same way we have workshops, the same way we have dealers. So we set the platform for everybody to interact. So if you pick a car on Autochek website today, you get multiple offers from our financial partners. These offers are competitive. So you have to look, okay, this one is offering me 15% interest rate. He's giving me this car for 2 years. Should I go for it? Or another one is saying, no, I'm giving this guy, based on his statement, on his activity, I'm giving him 18% interest rate, but I can give him a longer tenor. So 3-4 years, you understand? So what we've done is that we've made that decision to be in the hands of the consumer. So the market is regulating itself. Then we share that information with our partners to say, hey guys, customers are coming to us. They are refusing your offers because your interest rates are high. So they go back, they adjust, they come back. So that's the adjustment that is happening. So gradually, we've seen a decline in the interest rate despite the economic situation currently from when we started.
So it's the partners that give you their own...
You give us your interest rates. Then you see exactly the behavior of the customer. So the customer that comes will pick one out of the offers that suits him the most. Okay.
So how then do you make your own money?
Do you want me to actually explain that? Okay.
If you can.
Okay, so I'll try a bit to just tell you that first and foremost, we are not keen about making money. We are keen on creating that platform that connects everything together, because we know that once we have that infrastructure, so remember when I said that the infrastructure is the most important thing. So it's like saying that how do you create a road? How do you put a toll gate and make money from the onset? First and foremost, let's even build the road. Let's see if people are passing through it. Then we start looking at the numbers of cars. Then sometimes it's not always you don't put a gate or pricing onto something until you are evidently sure of what is happening. So for us, what we make is not a priority to us now. We have a couple of service charges, which is not exorbitant. So you understand. So it's very transparent when you look at our pro forma invoice. Then the prices are not even dictated by us of the vehicles. So we allow the dealers to make his own choice of the price on the car. So, but what we just do is that if a dealer overlists the price on the car, we tell him this your price is not competitive. So people will not buy it. You understand? So we've actually returned the power and strength to all the partners that are there to just decide.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Before we go on, let me just get a word from the people paying my rent and my food money.
Hi, I'm Abisola Adenoga, the head of business at Techpoint Africa. Did you know that you could present yourself as a reputable brand leader? Did you know that your business can get the limelight it deserves? Now you do. Using Techpoint Africa's marketing tools, we can put you in the faces of a large audience for brand awareness and thought leadership. To do this, reach out to us by sending an email to business@techpoint.africa or click on the link in the description below.
All right, welcome back. And yes, we've been talking about EVs, car financing, and what it would take exactly to own my very own dream Tesla. And I've been discussing with Mandela from Autochek. Autochek is an automobile company, am I right? A technology company. All right, yes. All right, so, you said a lot about, what the coming of EVs will be in the country, the issues that are surrounding EVs, and why Nigeria could actually be ready for it. Yeah. So let's talk about Autochek a little more. Let's go to Autochek. And in the past few months this year, I think you've had some really interesting acquisitions. One in Morocco and one in Francophone Africa. Yes. So what has those acquisitions? What has it done? How has it been so far?
Okay, so it has been a very interesting journey for the Autochek team, and to be honest, we would say that we didn't envisage this sort of strides when we initially started, but we started attracting attention from these countries after they looked at our business model and understood how it was solving the problems in the Nigerian market space. So the journey for us has also been very interesting because we are, each market has its own different learnings. Each market is at different state of maturity, and they have different behaviors. So we are also careful around approaching our market from where we have a template. So we go in, we react to the environment, and we survive. So that's
okay. Yeah, you're basically saying they are not the same. Even though it's it might be Africa,
yes,
the markets operate very differently.
So the markets operate differently, and I can quickly point you to maybe one or two reasons why. So regulations are different, and when I say regulations, what is the nature of car that is coming to Nigeria? What is the nature of car that is coming to Nairobi? What is the nature of car that is allowed into a Cote d'Ivoire, for example? So in Nigeria, we are just trying to clean up by the new valuation system introduced by the federal government. Again, if you look at the past 5-6 years, there's been so many activities happening around the policies, and that is what government is meant to do. So it's we are moving in the right direction. So and what does this explain? It just technically says that cars of this particular age are being discouraged, because there's no way those cars come into this country that will not put us at risk. You understand? So you go to some cities, you tend to find cleaner cars, cleaner buses. So what that means on our business is that it makes it very easy for us to just move into those countries and get value for the investment instantly. So you don't have to worry too much about maintenance. You don't have to worry too much about spare parts. So if you circle back into Nigeria, these things that I'm mentioning, it's not something that's plug and play in Nigeria. You understand? So, but different markets have their own different behaviors. We have markets that also share same similarities with Nigeria.
Okay.
But I can tell you that this is one of our toughest markets, which we have, kind of dominated.
So the others are just a piece of cake. Okay. All right. So I want to know more about customer behavior in these markets. How different is it?
Okay. So I'll start from the similarities.
Okay.
So there is still very low financial penetration and literacy across Africa. So the same attitude you have towards loan here is what is also expected to see in some of the African markets. And one thing that Nigeria has as an edge over the other African markets is the readiness of the banks. So we have the Nigerian banks, understanding the importance of this strategy in their own business decision making. So they are moving faster. So you would see more partners here in Nigeria than any other African market that we are operating in, and which is okay. And that is the fact is that they are also investing in technology, payment system to ensure that they also provide access or democratize financial accessibility for their citizens. So once the banks are ready, the citizens, to convince them will not be too difficult, just like what we see in Nigeria today. But that is not to deter us. We are also working with few banks that we know that are ready in other countries that we are in, just to educate people to say, you can test it out, just test it, come in, test it and see. So we are really in a very experimental mode, and willing to also make a lot of adjustments to fit in and customize solutions to fit any country of operations that we are in.
And are there a lot of competitions in all the markets that you are, including Nigeria?
Now, because we are an aggregator,
Okay.
we are staying out of the competition. We are letting the competition happen because it's good for us. Where we want to stand is technically just providing the technology for all the competition to be happening. You understand? So the stakeholders are all playing on our platform today. So we have the privilege to enjoy the view. So that will definitely just speak to your question.
Okay. Yes. And during the last podcast, I had a guest and we were talking about payments, and he was saying payments is transactions generally, when in Africa, it's more of a social problem rather than a technological problem. He emphasized the need for your customers to trust you, because I think in Africa it has always been a lot of interpersonal communication between who they want to buy things from. So I want to buy a car, I'll talk to my relative and they inform me of one Mr. so and so that can help me. So how do you solve where in a market where people like to relate in this kind of way? How do you create trust and tell them, what, you can get the kind of value that person will give, you can get such value on our platform? How do you solve that?
Okay, so I think the bigger value here is that your uncle that you talk to, let him come to Autochek platform, because one of the things that we are going to do for him is also giving him more customers. and also training him on standards that can be benchmarked with any city. So he has access to all those information. He knows which car he's selling. He has all those insights first. So let's take that aside. Then in answering what you said, you get, so we kind of, if you go around, for example, any city we are operating in, we have signages that shows how our presence is in these car lots. And so the essence of that is technically to also build trust. You understand? So this is a dealership that is not folding up tomorrow. So any place that you see our signage, we have done proper due diligence. We have done, proper compliance, everything on it. And you have a right as a customer to complain to us, and we have the obligation to ensure that your, complaints are being addressed. So that's the entire reasons. People are looking for trust. That's why they are going through all those corners. And empirical evidence also does not show today. We've seen brothers, sisters, not actually, delivering or honoring. Those stories are there. So we've taken that care of that with the platform.
That's really interesting. You've sort of like created an incentive for that dealer to be on your platform, to a level you've also I would say for now where internet penetration has reached, some things such as buying a car might be done maybe say largely offline, and even at that I guess you have a way of tackling that, because I can go to a dealership and he already has Autochek, and I can still plug into some of the features that you provide. So
the customer journey that we have created in Autochek is in two sides. Is an offline, then there's online. So you can come in through our website, pick a car of your choice, then we guide you through inspection, physically seeing the car and all those things. You drive tests before concluding your loan. Or you could walk to any dealership today and pick a car, do the test, do everything, and tell the dealer to say, please, I want a loan on this car. So the dealers have been trained on what to do and how to guide you through that loan. So either ways, you will get your financing within 24 hours.
Interesting. So as it is with all kinds of ventures, it's there are usually hiccups here and there and challenges, and I'm sure Autochek has seen its own fair share of challenges. What are some of those challenges that are unique to you? Some that really stand out for you?
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge for us is also an opportunity for us because as it is today, the automobile industry is very fragmented. So spare parts dealer is not talking to a car dealer. A car dealer is not talking to a workshop. A workshop person is not talking to maybe a banking partner or insurance partner. So they are not talking together. Everybody is just in silos. You understand? So this is the opportunity that we saw, and which is what we are now providing a solution for. So you can just make a buying decision on a car by the snap of your fingers in 10-15 minutes on our platform today, and you can drive your car home. So
that's quite interesting. All right, so let's just circle back to EVs for a second. Okay. Yeah. So have you seen any demand for electric vehicles?
Okay. So I would say that in terms of demand, we may not necessarily have gotten enough demand to the level that people will start to take notice of. But we as stakeholders, even if one transaction happens on EV, it's a big win for us because it means that this has come to life. You understand? Then the principles of compound interest starts coming in. You understand? So from 1 to 4 to 8 like that. So today, where we are in Nigeria, there are only a few countries that are in Africa that is on that level with us. You understand? So today we have EVs on our roads.
Okay.
We have EV charger stations in some of the states. And funny enough, Sokoto, Borno, those kind of places. have the infrastructure to charge EV cars,
like charging
Lagos,
stations.
you understand. So, and if you look at the number of EVs again globally, as at last data checked on this, about 6 million EVs worldwide. So
Wow,
it's still
small.
It's still very, very small. So for us to even have one or two, we should be celebrating. You understand? So, and it shows that it's actually doable. And the way the government is going about it, especially with the recent MOU, it shows an understanding of the initiative. Because if you look at the components of the MOU and the partners that are involved, I would technically say is Autochek that is only missing yet. And I will explain that also. So because one, the two partners, one Israeli is then the other Japanese. Japanese is, the largest exporter of used cars. So definitely we are talking to the right people. Israeli in terms of artificial intelligence, system integration. He just makes it very, very doable and achievable. And in terms of execution, you would see that they want to start with two legs and 3 legs, and motorcycles and tricycles first.
Okay.
Yeah, so then he graduates like that. So, and we already have companies in Nigeria that is already producing electric motorcycles.
Yes.
So that's the journey. That's the plan. So now, what it means is that we will no longer be having discussions of banning bikes again in Lagos or any other state, because with an EV combination of EV bike and system integration, it means that you can build a lot of technology for compliance on those bikes. So it improves safety, it improves the emission itself. So by 2035, which most countries are already setting as target, I think we should have considerable number of EVs on our road.
Interesting. So it just, you mentioned my final question already, and it's about the partners, right? One Israeli, the other Japanese, and like you also said, we already have Nigerian manufacturers that are already doing electric vehicles, like the likes of Tech, we have Jets doing some things around electric vehicles as well. So why foreign partnerships? Do you think some of these local manufacturers do not have, do you really need that foreign partnership? Aren't our local manufacturers enough?
Okay, so this is not a situation where we should look at the capabilities of whether Nigerians or Nigerian company can do it or not. Yes, of course, it's technology. We can. You know how the tech space is in Nigeria. You understand, but there's a whole lot of components that works together to bring this to happen.
Okay.
You understand? So I don't think we are there yet. So if we go that route, there are just some. It could just even be material supply issues that will deter us from meeting those targets and everything. So, but going from people that have scaled this in China, scaled it in Japan, scaled it in Israel, it's actually a step faster for us. And the guys that are there today, obviously, have had several support also from the Nigerian government. So it's an industry that is keen to the government that they are looking at in terms of technology. So I'm sure that everybody will be well taken care of with the guys that are going into it beyond manufacturing. They also want to make some money out of it. So what is happening now is the government creating the policies, creating the market, then creating the partners. You understand? So strategically, we have positioned ourselves as the only institution that can, do the financing at that level. Okay. You understand? So we know that we are capable of that. We are already, prepared for that when the time comes. You understand?
All right.
So, that's
okay.
it.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time. So if you're talking about electric vehicles, car financing, and It has been an interesting one. Mandela from Autochek, he says we are ready for EVs in Nigeria. Let me know what you feel about that. If you're watching this on any of the platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, simply leave a comment. Do you think Nigeria is ready? Or if you are from any other part of the continent, let's know what it's like, on your part. Do you think Africa is ready for EVs? Can we really, take this bold step and start, using technological advanced vehicles such as electric vehicles? Are we ready for it? And to everyone that has been commenting, that has been liking, sharing, thank you so much. We've been seeing them, we've been responding, and please keep it coming. And if you're listening to us on a podcast platform, or you want to listen to us on any podcast platform, we are available on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Hyatt Radio, and anywhere else you get your podcast. My name is Bolu, and it has been an interesting one. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely whatever you want to have. Bye-bye.